just went along with one of the Maliks. And it's a very traditional thing, like if I'm going to Bazaar or to another city close by, and just, why don't you hop on? So it was just pretty much a bystander. The second gentleman is Rasool Gai. Yeah. Okay. And I'll give detailed introduction of Noor Behram. So this is Noor Behram. Noor Behram is a journalist from Waziristan. He has been documenting specifically drone strikes for the last 4 years or 5 years perhaps, and he has been concentrating on children deaths. Due to the local customs, he could not take pictures of women, but this person, I believe, has most knowledge of what's happening on ground on drones. I mean, I haven't come across a person who is more knowledgeable and resourceful as a journalist in that area as Noor Behram. Noor Behram and myself, we met a couple of years ago when Noor Behram was here with these pictures, and he wanted to do an exhibition in Islamabad. So he came with big-sized pictures, and he got some wooden stands made himself, and he wanted to do an exhibition at one of the traffic signals in Islamabad. Because obviously no proper place would have an exhibition where you show atrocities committed by CIA or America. So when I was informed, I went where Noor was staying, I met him, I told him the kind of work we are starting to do and offered him my assistance in showing these pictures, taking them for kind of a tour and showing to people. And this was very documented work because there were about, at that time, 28 strikes, which he focused, and he had pictures from the scene of 28 strikes. A lot of these pictures, which I've been showing on my different presentations when I was in DC or yesterday as well, that most of the pictures have been taken by Noor Behram. So I think you can ask many questions from him. Rahmatullah, you know, he's enjoying your company so much that he forget here again.
I just did it correct to say that Noor has put his life at risk many times trying to take these pictures, so let's give him
And Noor himself is suffering from PTSD. That's another thing which is, and he has been very instrumental in collecting the muzzle pieces to convince his people, because you will see the problems of that area, that many people for many attacks have been selling these muzzle pieces as, no, not souvenirs. It's not, people just, because it's at least some source of income. They sell it just as, it's like a scrap. So you sell it and you buy some bread out of it. Till Noor was able to convince them that you don't sell it, this is basically what happened to you and it's an important piece of evidence. So this time Noor has brought some more pieces on his way. He's very intelligent, he has devised many methods how to get pieces out of Waziristan, which are very interesting things. You should ask on camera, so we can do that later. So this is Noor Behram. These two victim family members are from the same strike. Again, 17th March, so I don't have to go into detail of that. So I think we can start with the questions, but before that I will just introduce you guys. ये वो जो ग्रुप आएगा 5 से 14 जो कि मुल्क में भी ड्रोन के ऊपर बहुत ज़्यादा एहतजाज करते हैं और अपनी हुकूमत के खिलाफ आवाज़ उठाते हैं। आज दोपहर को इन्होंने मेरे मशवरे के बगैर वो तो चले गए अमेरिकी एम्बेसी। पहले इनको हमारी पुलिस ने पकड़ लिया कि आप जा ही सकते हैं, और जब बड़ी मुश्किल से पुलिस से छूटे तो ये उधर डिप्लोमेट वन प्लेन के अंदर चले गए, वहाँ ये चले गए तो अमेरिकी एम्बेसी अंदर ही जाने देंगे। एक बार खड़े उसके नारे मारते हैं जुम्मे के बाद उसकी इन्होंने वीडियो शूट बनाई, वो हम आपको देंगे तो आप उसे इस्लाम लेके जाइएगा। So I've just told him that despite my advice today, you guys went to American Embassy and then you were arrested. So if you could give like I think best certificate for them is if you could put that clip if you have these guys, so they can take back this to Waziristan and give it to people in Waziristan.
The clip of what?
Well, when you were outside American Embassy, I'm showing most of your pictures of clip or whatever. So yeah, so if you can make that even after the march, we can give it to these guys. They show to people in Waziristan. I think this will be best bridge between Waziristan and America. People who are against war. So.
Well, we'll have to go back with our science. All right, so we had a bunch of people with some good questions, and let's go around. We'll go around this way. Start with Mike.
Well, I was just hoping that that we could hear from them their personal accounts or feelings of the strikes that they were
कहते हैं कि बीस मार्च का वाक़या है, स्कूल की छुट्टियाँ 17 मार्च का वाक़या है और ये स्कूल की छुट्टियाँ नाम जब हमारा इलाके का वो गुलाबार खान जा रहा था जलसे में, तो ये भी उसके साथ बाई चांस चला गया जलसे के अंदर। कहते हैं कि जब मिसाइल हमला हुआ तो हमने धमाका देखा और हम जब आगे वहाँ से आप लोग तकरीबन 30 मिनट के पास धमाका देखा, मिसाइल देखा और कहते हैं कि वहाँ से बॉम्ब उड़ रहा था। अब जब हम पहुँचे तो वहाँ से काम हम शुरू कर दिया। तो इस असना में नूर रहीम का लाश भी उस पर एक हाथ भी
his cousin's name is Noor Behram, who was a 9th grade student, and it was holidays from school, so he was just at home when the local Malik Khan, who was killed, and his next of kin was here before. He told him that I'm going to this Jirga, and his cousin just hopped on with him and went. And it's very usual to just go and witness your elders doing what they're doing. So he went there, and then after half an hour his departure, they saw in the air the missile strike, because it was during the daytime. I think it was around 10:30 or 11. So they could see that, and when they rushed to the scene, it took them half an hour reaching there, and when they reached the spot and they just started rescue work, there were bodyguards flying everywhere, and then he himself found his picture, his dead body. So this is his picture.
This is
his cousin. Noor Behram.
How old?
He was 18 years old.
And could you maybe show us some of the other, maybe explain some of the
And we've got these pictures, by the way, printed on big. So, like even like we'll be taking them along on the march, and they are like big. So you'll be carrying them. We are putting on some of the cars as well, and your poster will also be covered on pictures.
That picture in the middle is the one that used to be the cover of our website.
You can, like as you're departing, the small ones are quite small. You can wrap them and just
People gave me a
take
hard time because they said it was too complicated.
It's a powerful picture.
That is the one I used.
Nora could explain
Oh, I'm not.
how difficult it is to get these pictures and why, from a couple of reasons. One, what happens to the bodies when a girl hits. And
Actually, he can show you if you are willing to watch,
Yeah.
because there are some pictures.
And they pass them around.
no, he's not going to want you to pass them,
Oh, okay.
but we do have some slides of them.
That's what he's
I have a bunch of these on slides. I can.
We actually passed on last time.
And you'll notice that there are no girls or women, and the ones that look like girls are not.
So I can show you the first one. So this is a picture of 2 children after the drone strike. This was one of the very lethal drone strike which killed many women and children, because this was targeting a housing compound, you can say, which was labeled as first that targeting Afghani, but it actually killed Afghan refugees there. So a lot of Afghan children and women were killed who were living there. So this is 2 brothers, their dead bodies.
What are we looking at there, Shahzad?
Just dead bodies. You can hardly make it mud and body parts, like big body parts. And this is what is normally the scene of drone strikes.
So is that arm severed? That's just a...
Yeah, it's one person carrying it, you can see.
Don't carry someone's arm.
So Shahzad, is the norm that the target itself is sort of vaporized and there's almost nothing left, and then these would be people who would be on the periphery?
बाज बहुत कम ऐसे वाक़यात हुए हैं कि जिस तरह मैंने तस्वीरें कटी हैं, जिस तरह ये बचा है इसको पाँव का और हाथ को लगा, इसको, लेकिन वो उसका वो फौत हो गया, इसको कपड़ा लगा।
So he's saying that it's very rare that actually full body parts are intact, just like this one, the whole body. So these children, some of them were injured when they were taken to hospital because they were hit by a shrapnel. But generally, it's more that the scene which he shows, a gruesome scene, is just the body parts. But then there are some strikes where the target is on a house where people are inside, so then somehow bodies are not completely burned down. But they are very rare.
लेकिन एक और बात ये सामने आ रही है कि जो जख्मी थे वो अब ठीक नहीं हो रहे हैं, वो सारे मर गए। इसके लोग कह रहे हैं कि इसमें कुछ
चीज़ें। Another thing which is coming in front is that many people who are injured, they don't survive. So that's why common belief among people, we don't know if it's true or not, is that they might be using some chemical weapons as well, because none of the victims are surviving lately.
That was my question with the,
Yeah, we hear such low numbers of injured.
This is what precision is. When they kill, they really kill.
And the one on the right is not, that is not a girl.
No, that's not girl. No, this one is girl. This
That
one
is a girl.
This one is a girl. This is 1 year
ये
old. There's another one with lipstick that's boy.
इसकी माँ उस वक्त
Yeah, this is a boy.
आवाज़ को बैठी थी, कभी उसको सूखा लगाने, कभी
This is because the mother actually went into a shock. So when the body was about to be buried, the mother actually lost her senses and she brought lipstick and she was putting lipstick on all of her son's face. This is that. You can see like closely there are lipstick signs all over his face. And he was, I believe, you teacher में बेटा नहीं? His father was a school teacher.
इसकी वो भी मर चुकी।
And his father is also killed in the drone strike.
Now, is that the only picture of a girl he has as the other one?
No, there is actually another one. There is another Fatma. I showed it in my slides yesterday.
And is it, so it's not against the custom to take a picture of a girl, it's just a woman?
Just a, if it's really young girl, he can take pictures. And then it depends from family to family. The picture he has taken of Fatma was, I think maybe he was lucky because it was in hospital. She was injured at that time. And she was alive. She passed away a few hours later.
So can you tell us how hard it is to get to the site of the drone strike in time to get these pictures, and who, we've heard that it's not just, that the Taliban also doesn't want these pictures taken.
मुझे पहले ये बताएंगे कितना मुश्किल है रोज हमले की जगह पर।
देखो, जब हम वहाँ पर तस्वीर लेने जाते हैं तो वहाँ पर हमारे साथ कोई भी नहीं जाता, क्योंकि अब अमेरिका ने ये तरीक़ाकार अपनाया है कि इमदादी कार्रवाई पर हमले होते हैं। तो जब हम तस्वीर लेते हैं तो हमारे साथ डर होता है कि हमारे ऊपर किसी भी वक्त मिसाइल फायर हो सकता है, लेकिन हम इसलिए ये रिस्क लेते हैं कि अमेरिका बार बार कहते हैं कि इसमें दहशतगर्द मरते हैं, इसमें टेररिस्ट मरते हैं, लेकिन हम दिखाना चाहते हैं उस तस्वीर के ज़रिए से कि ये है वो दहशतगर्द और ये है वो बच्चे जिनको आप दुनिया के सामने पेश कर रहे हैं कि ये दहशतगर्द है। तो इस वजह से काफ़ी मुश्किलात तो ज़्यादा होती है, लेकिन इन वजूहात की बिना पर वहाँ पर हम
He said there are a lot many difficulties, and one difficulty is the rescue operation attacks, where it's been very normal or usual thing recently that rescues are attacked as well, and also those people who go to document that. So this is one of the biggest hurdles in documenting it. But why I do this and what's my motivation is that because I want to challenge that narrative which America is putting forth, that there are no children or women being killed, or there are no innocent people being killed. So that's what actually makes me drag to all these sites where I go. दूसरा सवाल कैसा ही था कि क्या आपको इसमें तालिबान भी रोकते हैं तस्वीरें ढूंढने से, या आप वो किस चीज़ का वो भी नहीं चाहते कि तस्वीरें ली जाए?
नहीं, वहाँ पर तो ये है कि हमने हमेशा कोशिश की है कि आम लोग जितने भी मुतासर हो चुके हैं, चाहे बच्चे हैं चाहे ख़वातीन हैं, ख़ुसूसन मैंने दो चीज़ों पे काम किया है, एक बच्चों के ऊपर, एक ख़वातीन के ऊपर, क्योंकि अगर इसमें बड़े उम्र का मर्द मरता है ड्रोन में, तो अमेरिका कहता है कि इसमें ये हमारे साथ लड़ रहा था, अफगानिस्तान में हमारे ऊपर अटैक कर रहा था, तो इसलिए हमने इसको मार दिया। तो मैंने बच्चों को और हमेशा ख़वातीन के तस्वीरों को लेनी शुरू कर दी थी, ताकि इसके ऊपर ये इल्ज़ाम न लग जाए कि हमारे साथ लड़ रहा था। तो वहाँ पर जब आप अवामी सतह पर काम करते हैं और बच्चों के साथ, ख़वातीन के साथ, तो किसी की तरफ से ऐसी मुश्किलात तो पेश नहीं आई अभी तक, और क्योंकि आम लोग भी यही चाहते हैं कि जो आम मुतासर हो रहे हैं तो उसको सामने लाएं।
Because my focus has been specifically women and children, and what I tell everyone, whoever is there, and that's why they don't stop me, is that I want to put forward this thing that it's not what US say, that if there is a man of able age, military age, who actually can fight with them, and what they say he's fighting with us in Afghanistan, there are children and women victim of these strikes. So this is why I go, and this is why no one stops me, and I face no opposition from any of the groups there. I go to sites, and it's just the drone which stops me from going to sites.
But he can't show that there are any women that have been.
लेकिन आप फोटो में नहीं दिखा सकते, वो क्या मुश्किलात है?
मुश्किलात ये है कि जितने भी ट्राइबल एरिया है कबायली इलाकों में, चाहे पाकिस्तान में चाहे दूसरे ममालिक में, तो उसके लोग जो होते हैं वो काफ़ी सख्तगीर होते हैं और अपने मजहब पे अटक होते हैं और काम करते हैं। तो कबायली इलाकों में ये रवाज नहीं है कि ख़वातीन की तस्वीर हम सामने लाएँ, तस्वीरों को वो सामने नहीं लाना चाहते, लेकिन ये है कि हम डेटा इकट्ठा कर रहे हैं, और अब तक 670 के करीब ख़वातीन हमें ऐसी मिल चुकी है जो अपने घरों में बच्चों के लिए या भाइयों के लिए या शोहर के लिए खाना पकाती थी, तो वो इसमें मर चुके हैं। और हम कोशिश करते हैं कि जिस तरह हमने तस्वीरें सामने लाई हैं, इसी तरह उनका डेटा भी सामने लाएँ, उनके शोहर का, उनके भाई का, उनके बहन का, घर का सामने बेटे चढ़ाए।
The first hurdle is the custom and religion and interpretation of religion, that tribal society, and it's very common in tribal society that we do not like to show picture of our women or complain of their death. But I've been working on counting women who have been killed, and according to my sources, I I do not have any pictures to prove or any evidence to prove, but what I've been speaking with people, so far I have counted 670 plus women being killed in these drone strikes. But I'm working on convincing people that they provide me more evidence or some more details where I can show to the rest of the world that this is the number of just women being killed in drone strikes. And as Malik Jalal was saying earlier, he said that, and most of them have been even killed working in their kitchens. This is what people complain to me. Now I'm convincing the families that can I take the husband's name, or brother's name, or father's name as a start.
Did also take pictures of the women's clothes.
Yes. Yes. What did I know? There was one particular strike which was at a So for example, some occasion so this attack was, for example, he was able to convince the men. This was 26th of 26th June 2007 strike, and this was at a house, and it killed mostly women who were present at the house because men were out. And he was able to convince them to take pictures of women clothing, and you can see some parts of the clothing which women were wearing. And some of these pictures, some of these parts he took off from the trees as well. So this is the extent he could actually get to.
Is it like a fair implication that with all of these children's deaths, which he's been able to document, that there would also be their mothers, and at least some of these cases very nearby? So even though he doesn't have photographic evidence, it would seem that the small children would be an indication that their mothers were there.
तो ये हो सकता है कि बेटा अपने काम के लिए ये भी कर सकते हैं आप जिसको छोटे बच्चे जिसको 2 महीने बच्चे हैं या साल के बच्चे हैं जिसको शुरू से दूध पिलाया जा रहा है, अगर वो उसको मारा गया उसका मतलब ये भी होगा ना कि उसकी माँ भी साथ मारेगी, क्योंकि वो माँ तो बच्चे के साथ
ये इस तरह की तस्वीर मैंने ऑर्डर के जरिए से खत्म की है। और ये माँ ने उसको पकड़ा था, माँ और दोनों इसमें जान सिर्फ ये
This is exactly one of the situations where he's been able to see what you are suggesting is that, for example, this is one girl who was killed, and this picture was with this is not the picture when she died, but this is a picture with her mother, and both mother and daughter died. So the family actually worked on the computer and took the mother's picture out and gave him just the girl's picture.
और ये भी माँ और बेटी दोनों
This is another actually client of ours. This was mother and daughter who were both killed, and this is 1-year-old daughter. Mother picture they didn't give us, but you will be hopefully meeting Saddam. I think he's uncle of. This was Saddam's niece. He will be with us in Uzbekistan.
So, can I see showing
This is
hands?
another child who was.
I'm curious to know how he hears about these different strikes and whether or not his safety is jeopardized.
आपको कैसे पता चलता है कोई दवा मतलब इतला करती है जब आप जाते हैं तो उसमें आपको सेफ्टी हो गया होता है तो
देखो हम ये भी मेरे साथ काम
That's how he hears.
The native is carrying the cell phone too.
ये भी मेरे साथ जर्नलिस्ट है हमारी वजह से तो हमने कोशिश की है कि जितनी भी एरिया में जर्नलिस्ट रहते हैं तो अगर उसके गांव में कोई वाक़या हो जाए तो दूसरा जर्नलिस्ट हमें इतला देता है। बाज़ वाक़यात ऐसे हैं कि इनके गांव में हुए थे, हमें इतला दी गई कि आप आ जाए हमारे साथ इस तरह वाक़या हुआ। एक तो जर्नलिस्ट हम आपस में हेल्प करते हैं, दूसरा ये कि वहाँ पर टेलीफोन कनेक्शन नहीं है, मोबाइल नहीं है, वहाँ पर लैंडलाइन है और साथ साथ वॉकी टाकी के तरीक़ाकार हैं। तो हम जहाँ तक लैंडलाइन काम करते हैं तो उसी तक अगर हमें धमाके की आवाज़ सुनी जाए तो हम लैंडलाइन से कंफर्म करते हैं कि आप देखें जितने भी देहात हैं वहाँ पर फ़ोन करते हैं कि धमाके की आवाज़ आपने किया हुआ, और नहीं तो हम वॉकी टाकी से लोगों के साथ रब्ता करते हैं। और साथ साथ अब ये हो गया है कि जब हमने बच्चों के ऊपर, ख़वातीन के ऊपर आम लोगों की आवाज़ आना शुरू कर दी है रेफरी तंजीम की मदद से, तो अब लोग खुद हमें इतला देते हैं कि यहाँ पर ड्रोन हमला हुआ है, आप आ जाए।
Source of information is always the journalists who are in various areas, so we are always in touch with each other, and they inform that if there is a strike, and they always inform me. Second source of information comes through, if there is no mobile service in that area, so we have a landline, but it's not with everyone, there are very few landlines. And the third is walkie-talkies. A lot of people use walkie-talkies, and some of the concentrated areas, they have friends, colleagues, people they just take their frequency from, and then they inform. But he says, like, since my work has started with Reprieve, now people actually, when they know that we are actually focusing on civilian and women and children there, so now actually I get calls from or news from people who are not my contact, but they still contact me to report of women and children there.
So we have Jolie and then Chelsea.
How many children have you taken pictures of?
मैं तो तकरीबन 100 के ऊपर है, वो तस्वीर बच्चों की 100 के करीब है, लेकिन काफ़ी अभी तो मैंने तो 27 या ऐसे 28 हम लोग के काफ़ी तादाद में बच्चों की तादाद में इकट्ठी कर सकता था, लेकिन वहाँ पर प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हफ्ते में 2 दिन कर्फ्यू और कर्फ्यू की वजह से मैं वहाँ पर नहीं पहुँच सकता। कभी कभार इस तरह होता है कि ना काफ़ी दूर होता है, पहाड़ी इलाका होता है, वहाँ पर पहुँचते जब हम पहुँच जाते हैं तो बच्चों को दफन किया होता है। तो तकरीबन काफ़ी तादाद में इस वजह से मैंने 100 तस्वीरें 100 बच्चों की तस्वीरें ली है।
They are spread over 27 strikes. But the problem is, like, there's curfew imposed at times when there's a drone strike, so I could not reach the spot, or there are few occasions when I reached the spot, they had already burned because it was maybe 2 days later, so I couldn't take a picture, whatever I could take, maybe talk with the family and come back. So, but 100 children picture I was able to take.
इस बच्चे की तस्वीर जब मैं ले रहा था तकरीबन 7 घंटे का फासला हम उसको दफन कर रहे थे कि बस पे पहुंच गया। जो मकीन का इलाका है
like this picture I was able to take after traveling 7 hours. I was informed of the strike right at the moment of the strike, and then I started traveling. It took me 7 hours. This was in South Pakistan, Maqeen, very close to Winter. And they were just about to bury me. I just made it on time after traveling 7 hours to take this picture.
So, did you...
So there's we have Chelsea.
Hi.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jody, did you?
Was that 100 pictures?
100 pictures, like
Yes.
100 children,
Yes.
which are spread over 27 strikes.
Great.
Different strikes.
Not great.
Yeah.
The information is
Hi. Someone we were talking about this earlier, and someone had brought it up. We were wondering the number of people displaced due to drone attacks and how many people have decided to move away due to the danger there.
Is your question for South or North?
Sorry.
मेरे ख्याल में जितने भी ये हमले हो रहे हैं चाहे साउथ में चाहे नॉर्थ में है, तो काफ़ी तादाद में लोग वहाँ से ऐसे निकल चुके हैं, क्योंकि डांडे दर पखेल से हमने खूब देखा कि वहाँ से लोग इसलिए निकल गए हैं कि यहाँ पर तकरीबन 18 के करीब हमले हो चुके हैं, और साथ साथ मोहम्मद खेल एरिया है, चाहे दत्ता खेल तहसील और इस तरह और शवाल का इलाका है। तो यहाँ से काफ़ी तादाद में मैं तस्वीर भी ले चुका हूँ जो ड्रोन की वजह से मजबूर हो चुके हैं, वो तस्वीर मेरे साथ हैं। तो काफ़ी तादाद में इस वजह से भी निकल चुके हैं कि ड्रोन एक तो इस तरह करते हैं कि रात की तारीकी में करते हैं, दूसरा ये करता है कि अगर एक आदमी को टारगेट करता है तो अमेरिका ये नहीं देखता कि हमने इसके एक के बदले में 20 आदमी मार दिए या 24 आदमी मार दिए या 50 आदमी मार दिए। 50 आदमियों को एक ही अटैक का शिकार बना देते हैं। और तीसरा ये नहीं देखता कि इसमें चाहे घर में बच्चे हैं, खवातीन हैं, उसको हम मारते हैं। तो इस तरह है कि एक आदमी को मारने के लिए तकरीबन 50-50 आदमियों को मारते हैं। तो इस वजह से लोगों में वहाँ पर जहाँ पे ड्रोन ज़्यादा होता है इलाके में खौफ होता है और वहाँ से जाने की कोशिश करते हैं।
Like, we can finish it early because everyone needs to gather stuff and then.
Do you remember what I said?
हाँ, काफ़ी लोग इस इलाकों से निकल चुके हैं इसलिए कि ड्रोन हम पे ज़्यादा हो रहे थे और ड्रोन हमने पूरी शहरी इलाकों में आते हैं पहाड़ों से और साथ साथ अपने रिश्तेदारों के पास जाते हैं क्योंकि ड्रोन इस तरह होता है कि एक घर को मारने के लिए तकरीबन 5 करोड़ के टारगेट किया जाता है। तो जहाँ डाले जाते हैं शवाल के
There's a big number of displacement as well from the area, but it's not that they go to IDP camps, they actually go to their relatives, they go to bigger cities. Because the problem is that when they are looking for one person in a concentrated area, they actually go for several houses in the area. So the trend is that if there is a new drone strike starting in a newer area, then people all fear for their lives. So they're like, okay, if they're looking for someone here, it means everyone in this area is in danger. So there is migration. There's this one picture where he actually documented people leaving houses, putting things in their cars, going to other places. And this was from south or north?
not Shawal.
This is from Shawal area in North Waziristan.
So
And
are
Shawal is one area which is now very much concentrated of drones.
So are there empty villages?
नहीं खाली नहीं है लेकिन बस रिश्तेदारों में
They're not empty, they leave few people behind, but many of them actually move to other cities. But it's a question of affordability as well, because there is no IDP camp for North Waziristan.
Yes, do you get any kind of help or aid from the Pakistani government? If your homes are demolished, your families are killed, or in this case, having to leave.
देखो मुतसम्मिल गाँव के हालात के जितनी भी घरें जिन्हें हो चुकी है वहाँ ये सूरत हाल है और जिस तरह पहले थी इसी तरह अब भी है। अभी तक सिर्फ ये जरगा पे जो अटैक हुआ था इसके जो कजन इसमें मरे थे 17 मार्च का, उसमें गवर्नमेंट ने ये किया था कि 3-3 लाख रुपया उनके घरों में भेज दिए थे, इनके मुतसिरीन के घरों में पॉलिटिकल इंतजामिया ने। लेकिन इन लोगों ने वापस कर दिए इसलिए कि उन्होंने कहा कि खुदा के वास्ते ड्रोन बंद करने में मदद दे, हमें पैसों की ज़रूरत नहीं है। हालांकि गरीब इतने हैं कि एक दूसरे के ऊपर मजदूरी करते हैं, मदद करते हैं उन यतीमों का, और लेकिन गवर्नमेंट से 3 लाख रुपए नहीं लिए कि सिर्फ एक बार ऐसा हुआ था, बाकी इस तरह हमने
So like most of the area will be like this wherever there were drone strikes in North Waziristan, and a lot of people who are affected by drones, they don't have means to reconstruct, and government has at no occasion given them any sort of compensation on these. There was only one occasion when this drone strike happened on Jirga, and this was a big challenge for government as well because they tried